Hello, and welcome to another day in the arena, fresh on the heels of the announcement that Kaladesh and Ipnu Rivulet are coming soon, and I made a video about that announcement that you can check out elsewhere. We've been given a quest for some white and blue spells, so I'm going to be playing blue-white control today, since I already introduced the deck and did a deck tech on it in the past, another video that you're welcome to check out. We're just going to jump right in. So a few changes to the deck. We'll put a deck list in the description so you can check out the changes, but not a big difference from what we played before. So just a little gameplay video. If you're not feeling blue-white control, that's totally fine. You can catch a future deck tech where we probably play something a little more different and brewy. But this is a deck I like to play. Say what you will about it. I believe it fits my play style and plays to my strengths, so it's still fun for me to do. I know it's not what everybody's cup of tea, but that's the way Magic is, a little something for everybody. So for you control mages out there, a little extra something special. For you haters of control, maybe I'll lose. Maybe this guy will just completely torment me into the ground. I feel fine playing a search here rather than holding up an essence scatter. I'm not confident my opponent will resolve anything too scary. They could play a Dreadshade, which would be upsetting, but that's about it. We're gonna bin it, and we're gonna bin everything until we get more lands. All right, that is excellent. We have an interesting choice coming up with Cast Out, whether to cycle it and try to hit our 5th land or not, and I think a lot of it depends on what happens this turn. Okay, let's see. Our opponent could be holding up a Vraska's Contempt, which would make a lot of sense, and is perhaps a reason not to play the Teferi. Regardless, I'm going to cycle the Cast Out and try to improve our position. I think that's better than taking the creature off the board. They may, being mono black, they may not run that many creatures, so we can use our other solutions in the deck, like Seal Away, to deal with this. All right, so now we have the question, do we play the Teferi and open up for our opponent to do something? I actually don't think that's a very wise choice. We can take 2 damage for a good amount of time and set up our board more. We're not under a ton of pressure, so I'm going to graveyard this, and I'm going to try to draw a Negate and set up a game plan around the Teferi a little bit more, especially with all these counter spells in hand. All right, the Seeker Squire. I would probably take damage from this till I was at 8 or 6, a very low number, as long as it meant I was improving my position every turn. All right. I will bin it. I am confident we'll draw more lands. We do run 27, so drawing more lands should rarely be too big of an issue. And we want to get to a place where either our opponent taps mana and we play a counter, then can follow with Teferi, or we can play Teferi and support it with counter magic. Okay, where are we at? 4 cards. We'll draw with the Memorial to Genius then. I'm confident we'll both get more lands and get closer to flipping our Azcanta, so not a lot of reason not to take the cards there and continue improving position. And a Blink of an Eye is an interesting card. It can support Teferi almost like a Negate where we bounce our own Teferi in response to something, so I think I'll take this. We may just cast out the Seeker Squire now. We could have done it a long time ago, but I'm perfectly happy with waiting and getting deeper into our deck before making that decision. Here is Duress from the opponent. I think we'll just use a counterspell here. If the opponent's been saving Duress for a crucial turn when they want to resolve something, that's a pretty smart use of the card. But it looks like that was all they were going for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They only tapped 1. We're at 6, so this can flip. I think we'll just go ahead and proceed to my turn. Hold on to this Cast Out. Our opponent might be trying to resolve a Liliana or some other troublesome permanent, and perhaps that was what that Duress was about. Having 2 mana left over meant we could Syncopate or Negate, which might have scared them out of playing the Liliana. All right. This is our win con, but we do have memory to get it back, so I'm going to graveyard it in this case. It means that we might have to take a lot longer to win, unfortunately. But hey, it's blue-white control. This is what we signed up for. we play Teferi and activate it, our opponent responds with Vraska's Contempt, and we respond with Blink of an Eye. They do get a turn to do just about anything they want to us. And right now, a Torment of Hailfire would really mess us up. So I think for this turn, I'm just going to cast out the Seeker Squire, kind of shore up that little hole in the game, get the board empty, have counter magic open, and just continue preparing Teferi for the takeover. Field of Ruin looks like got held out here. So now that we're going up to 8 mana, I can go ahead and use this. And we do have another Search Hallelujah. And take that Negate. Fortunately, our opponent knows about it. Alright, go into my turn, we'll flash you in. We do it on end step so that we keep counter magic open for the whole turn, which is going to be a goal for probably the rest of the game, keeping counter magic open. Torment of Hailfire can be a very devastating card. Alright, so that means, yep, we'll play Teferi here. We'll plus it. I'm expecting a Vraska's Contempt here.
Hide from the world any longer.
Alright, and we can negate that Vraska's Contempt. And our lands will untap so that we can have counter magic open next turn. And now we'll have an interesting choice to make. An Eldest Reborn would force us to sacrifice a Planeswalker, which is not really what I want to see happen. So away with you. And now untapping with Teferi always feels a little bit like we got ahead of the game here. And now let's see if the opponent has yet another Eldest Reborn. A Cruel Reality, you say? Interesting. Well, let's see. We're going to have to bounce that. And then we're going to have to find a solution. It's a good time to have Blink of an Eye in the deck. I like probably some of you, I sometimes question what I'm using Blink of an Eye for, what matchups it's good for, but when it comes up big, it comes up big. Alright, we got an interesting spot here where we have to find an answer to this Cruel Reality, and we haven't found it yet. It might make sense to memory their whole hand away and make them find something else entirely. We would have 6 mana open. The other option is to search for Azcanta and hope to find an answer that way. We also have, like, we could have to sacrifice our Teferi, but then we play another Teferi and make him put the Cruel Reality in his deck. But I think in this case, we really just want to memory it away. That's, I think, the more or less guaranteed line to go to. And we do want we want to shuffle back in our Approach of the Second Sun. And it's also a great opportunity because our opponents tap so much mana this turn. If they draw Vraska's Contempt, they have to wait till their turn to play it. So shuffle it all back in. And we did draw a hard counter, which is very nice. And from there, we're going to move to our end turn. And I guess we'll unlock the lands that have some utility and the dual land. And we'll see what our opponent drew off their fresh 7 cards. Did they find multiple answers to the Teferi? Here's a Doomfall coming after our hand. I think we just have to counter that and keep the mystery alive. I'm not very surprised that the Doomfall was present. Here's an Eldest Reborn. Each opponent sacrifices a Planeswalker. We're not going to be able to get out of that, which is too bad. We can go after this so he can't get our Teferi back, and I think that's a worthy thing to do with this cast out, but we don't have to do it now. We can search for Azcanta and try to find another Teferi, and we did. It's one of the absolute ridiculous things about Search for Azcanta in this deck is finding more Teferi.
This isn't a fight. Hold that thought.
Now we could cast out now, but right now we have the ability to search for Azcanta and hit a counterspell, which we may need. So I'm actually happy. I'll just let this Eldest Reborn make me discard a land so I can have the ability to find a counterspell should I really feel I need it over this next turn. Actually, since we're going to untap 2 lands anyway, does that change anything? No, I don't think so. It's really not a big loss here to discard a land that I'm unlikely to actually use. I think I'll keep the other search in case of a Field of Ruin, since we've already been through that once in this game. Here comes the Cruel Reality. Okay. Don't need to counter that. And the Seeker Squire can get this Essence Scatter. Okay. So we don't have enough mana to search for Azcanta and cast out, but we're definitely going to cast out. I'll just cycle this first. Okay, and we'll cast out Cruel Reality. And on our turn, we'll cast out the Eldest Reborn, so that he does not get a Teferi out of our graveyard to use against us. The other play that we could make is casting out our own Teferi. If we let him use the Eldest Reborn to get the Teferi, and then we cast out our own Teferi. The problem with that is how the only thing we could do is I guess someday we could find a blink of an eye to return our cast out to our hand and then get our Teferi. We do have to let our opponent draw a card. I think I'm okay with that, actually. I actually think I like this.
Hurry.
I think it's a pretty good line, as it does, instead of leaving our Teferi in a graveyard where we can't get it back, we have it available to us if we draw a blink of an eye someday in the future. Like I said, our opponent gets to draw a card, but that's the, like, I think the random card in their deck, I'm not very afraid of. I think it's going to be a lot of spot removal that I don't have to worry about. Sends my Teferi into my deck, but we'll get it right back with Search for Azcanta. Even if he tries to make us shuffle our deck or something, we will get it right back. It's okay. That's even better than if he had drawn a card, because if he drew a card, I'd at least have to worry that it could be a relevant thing. All right, now we just have to go find a blink of an eye. So would I rather have my Teferi, or would I rather have my cast out in my hand, a card off the top, and a Teferi? I think I'll take the blink. So we'll kick it and target our cast out to hand, Teferi back. Oh my, everything's coming up CGB now. Opponent might be considering a Vraska's Contempt here. They have 6 mana open. $9. Okay, so we have to make him pay 8 here. And I think we can still pose that we have a Wizard's Retort. We could have done 7, I guess. That's a mistake. I should have left 1 mana untapped. All right, we'll play this, and then we'll keep up the pose like we still have a counter spell. Maybe our opponent will play around it, maybe not. I don't think they're in a place where they really can, so I don't think it matters. But if I had had 4 mana open, if I had tapped correct, I'd be in a much better spot. All right, that's going to make a lot of knights. We don't have the Essence Scatter. Do you hear a buzzing, anybody? All right, them ambient sounds, baby. Them sound effects. Field of Ruin doesn't have a target at the moment. Play another Memorial. Hold up Settle is pretty obvious, but let's get the approach off. basically makes the opponent feel that they have to start attacking us. Doomfall. Interesting, right? What to do? So they'll take the Settle, and then he'll come after me. How many creatures is this? This attacks for 16. We can cast out this. It's 20 total. So this is 16. So we can still survive. It's going to be painful, though. But I think we can get back to Settle. It's going to be tough. That's a very handy Doomfall, well-timed. Can't fault the opponent for getting that right. And here they comes. So we have to seal away the Josu. Now this is... if they have a Torment of Hailfire, we're basically going to die. Should I cycle first? Because I can't do Search for Azcanta and cast the cast out. So I should cycle first and give myself a chance at hitting a Settle the Wreckage, which I should have done before the seal away, to be honest. Okay. So now we'll play you. And is there a Torment of Hailfire? If there is, I can sacrifice permanents. Okay. We wouldn't be completely dead there to a Torment for 5, because we can discard cards and sacrifice permanents. All right. Can we get it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we can get there.
Keep up the pace.
And our opponent made that shockingly close with the great Josu Vest Doomfall combination, but we get out of it with 1 life, with 1 measly little life point. Woo! All right. Well, that was an exciting game. I think I could only ruin it by playing more, and those of you who aren't as into control decks probably wouldn't be down for that anyway. So I'm going to leave it there for today's upload. Make sure you check out the breaking news video I uploaded if you haven't already to hear more about Kaladesh, Aether Revolt, Best of 3, and other new features coming soon to the arena. This has been another day in the arena. I'm CGB, and I am out of here.